But I do regret not going into more detail about like the difference of Josh Hokit and Sean Strickland. They're very different. And I almost made a video today that was literally going to be like the difference between Josh Hokit and Sean Strickland or something like that. Because people were leaving comments, some people, not a lot of people, but they were leaving there were comments left that were saying something like, I don't even understand. I can't believe how you could like Josh Hokit and not Sean Strickland. And I can't believe how they would say that. They're vastly, wildly different. Wildly different. I mean, gosh. And I hesitate to really try to go into it without being able to formulate my thoughts more. I like to have respect for what I'm delivering and who I'm delivering it to. You know, I like to kind of put things down and really get my stuff together before I just start rattling sometimes, you know. But it's kind of like what you saw the other day with Josh Hokit when he was talking to Ariel. And it's crazy. Josh Hokit is so unbelievably in control of everything that he does that he's not even afraid of referring to kayfabe or being in character or out of character. He could go in and out of them like nothing, and he doesn't lose anything, doesn't lose any of his currency. He did the whole interview with Ariel, as you might say, out of character. He was just normal Josh Hokit, right? And even as that guy, he could talk very articulately about why he goes into certain characters and why those look the way that they do. And even as himself, still being unapologetic about it and saying exactly why he's apologetic about it, blah, 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 not apologetic about it. Where on the other hand, you have Sean Strickland, and that guy never turns it off because there's nothing to turn off. He really is that guy that's in the gym that made that merch where now he's profiting off of the Justin Poirier situation where he's saying it's going to be bad, my N-word. Now, I know there's people in here that have no issue with that, and I'm not trying to be like Luke Thomas and cry about it. I'm not acting like I'm going to lose any sleep over it either. I'm just saying, when we see him doing stuff like that, and the way that he's talked to women reporters, like very, very weird, like immature, like edgelord, kind of gross, awkward, like mass shooter kind of ways, like that kind of energy, that's him. That's him. And then maybe he'll walk things back and apologize for things here and there, but he's not. It was never a character. Maybe it was to sell a fight. Maybe it was to over-dramatize something. Like I said, I didn't even want to go into this right now because I wanted more time to formulate my thoughts. But I just think that there's a lot of significance to the fact that there's a distinction when we see Josh Hokit, and he's clearly not being the Incredible Hulk guy. He's not being that Cholo guy. He's not being the shy guy, whatever. It's just Josh Hokit now. Sean Strickland is always Sean Strickland. And I think a lot of people will say, exactly, that's good. He's authentic. And it's like, well, no. Here's the difference. People, they claim to not like Josh Hokit because some of the stuff that he says and the way he acts, right? It's a character. And I've said this a bunch of times. Are you going to get mad? You know what I don't like? I used to use this one analogy all the time. And then I heard Chale Sonnen use it one time. After I used it like several times, then I was like, are you kidding, bro? Just like always, just like everything else. But I'll just say the same one I always used to say. If you're going to get mad at Josh Hokit for doing his characters, then you should be mad at Al Pacino when he's playing Scarface. Because he's a bad guy, right? He's killing people. What's wrong with him? What a bad guy. Someone call the cops. Oh, it's a movie? Oh, so he's a character? Oh, so then you're going to shut up about Josh Hokit because it's character? and he's just playing the game that the UFC and Dana White made necessary, or else they'll cut you, even if you're undefeated and finishing fights. Okay. So he's playing a character. So every time that you pretend that you're mad at him, and I can't believe he said that, he did blah, 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 he's playing a character. He's Scarface. Sean Strickland, he'll say some crazy stuff. He'll be rude and disrespectful and immature and kind of gross and say really weird things to ladies, professional ladies that, are, trying to, do their job and stuff like that we would never say to them. I mean, we would never say those things to them. We give all the allowances to people like Sean Strickland. We would never say that. Maybe if we were being silly and being in character like Josh Hokit, but this dude is just being him, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't say, yeah, that's the real him. He ain't playing a character like Josh Hokit. That's just him. Well, that's bad, because then that means every time he says something ridiculous and awful and stupid and edgelord and all that kind of stuff, that's just him. And then he'll walk it back and say, oh, guys, I'm sorry. Josh Hokit admits that it's only a character, and he still won't take it back. Even though he's admitted it's a character, he still won't take it back. Sean Strickland ain't even playing a character. He's just doing real life. And then he's like, okay, I made all this money. I said all this crazy stuff to make money. Now I better walk it back to keep that money. I better walk it back now so that I keep making money. And then I'll say crazy stuff again to make money, but then I got to reel it back in again to keep making money. And he finds ways to, he just finds ways to make everything about himself. Just like he wasn't even invited to the White House, and he has to show up and get arrested, thinking he's going to be like the light-skinned Rosa Parks or something like that. Like he trying to show up and make himself a martyr. It's disgusting, man. But there was something about Hokit the first time I ever saw him that felt like it genuinely felt like it was not coming from a place of malice. Like, like again, I know I keep going back to, but like when Sean Strickland does it, he's clearly expounding on things that he really does feel that way about. Like, and I'm not even trying to I'm not saying I agree or disagree with him, but when he says things about cultures and all this and that, you could tell that it's coming from a place of reality. Which makes it even worse when he tries to walk it back and apologize, because he meant it. He meant it. Which is like the people that try to defend him, they're in a real hard position, if they care at all, to have any kind of integrity or any kind of logic to it. If they care at all, then they're in a tough position, because they're trying to claim how painfully authentic and genuine this guy is. But then also how great it is that he walked it all back and was a good guy at the end and a good sport, and asked for forgiveness for all of it and said, never mind, I don't feel that way. You can't logically have both and respect both simultaneously. It doesn't make any sense. You have to like him because of the fact that he walked it back and say, okay, good, he grew, he's better than that. He doesn't really stand by that. Or you liked what he said and you agreed with it, and his opinions are the same as yours, and therefore you wouldn't like that he took it back. It's they and I hate to use terms like this because it makes me feel like I'm trying to be Luke Thomas, but that's where that cognitive dissonance comes into play. Somebody tried to use that term with me earlier today, saying that I'm executing that by trying to act like Strickland and Hokit are any different, but no, it's them to feel like both of those realities can exist at the same time. That's where it comes into play, because those things don't align with each other. But NFGU89, part of it there's a few things, and I respect, just like you said with me, I think the most important thing I can say to you is I respect your take, because people come from walks of life, different places, different circumstances, and a lot of it, the whole nature nurture thing. A lot of us are who we are because of the nature, of how we grew up. and just being a big WWF fan. You know, I love to see those kind of shenanigans and craziness. And again, I don't like to see it when it starts to feel like it does come from a place of maliciousness. If I could tell this dude, even when he's flipping people off, even when he's saying whatever, it's like he's doing it in such a silly way. It's as if he's making himself part of the punchline. That is brilliant. The funny thing is, the way he's doing it, it allows people to think that he's just a cringy cornball and it's just like little elementary type of humor, while it actually is layers and levels deep. It's impressive, actually. He's doing this, and you know what? I said this months ago. I said this months ago. I was comparing him to Andy Kaufman. And then a couple weeks ago, I saw footage. I don't know if it was the countdown or what. There was footage of him in his room with a quote that he had on his wall from Andy Kaufman. And I was like, yup, of course. At the time, Andy Kaufman, they thought he was this cringy, wackadoodle psycho. Like, why is he trying to beat up on ladies and wrestle with ladies? And this guy's weird. But he was a genius. And it was kind of like you have to have ears to hear and eyes to see kind of a thing. Like, he knew that there would be people that would not get it and would think he was a cringy cornball. And he's like, that's fine. Because part of this shtick is making sure that happens to that group of people to create that heel dynamic. And the people who do get it, they'll get it and they'll love it. It's like it caters to the right people on the right levels. I don't know. It's just, I love it, man. I feel like I can see exactly what he's doing and I love it. It's so intentional. It's not like this ugliness coming out of him. It's this thing he's doing on purpose. So with such self-awareness that it's like, okay, I get it. You're playing this thing and I get it. Cause it's entertainment. I'm not gonna get mad at Scarface for killing dudes. Josh Hokit is 100% a character. What he said at the White House was hilarious. I don't care what side you're on. Like I said yesterday, you cannot watch that footage of him saying that and not see everybody smiling. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was laughing. And then after the fact, they were trying to pretend that they weren't.